Good morning, everybody. All right. Let's see here. Happy Friday. It's August 12th, and I started selling Amazon kits in late May, um, maybe late June. And since then, I've sold 117 kits, which sounds wonderful until you hear that because Amazon has so many rules and regulations in place, the amount of profit that I've taken home is negative. Jess, are you joining me this morning? Good morning. Um, hey, Jess. Yeah, so if you're watching live, go ahead and drop in a comment because I can see your comments. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and write replay so that we know when we've caught you. So this morning we are talking about all things Amazon kits. And I'll link to our first episode, Amazon episode, where I was in the midst of working with a lot of ads. I talked about return on ad spend and trying to make that as high as possible. And since the last time we had a broadcast about this, I reached the 100 kit mark, which is so exciting, right? So 100 kits, Learn to Knit kits sold right through Amazon. And this is the only place that they're available for sale. So I do have Learn to Knit kits on Etsy, but they're a different product. I use different yarn and different size needles. So that is so that I can honestly, I charge a little bit less for those. And Amazon has a rule that if you are selling a product on Amazon, it has to be the lowest price available there. So I think it's $39 on Amazon for the Learn to Knit kit, and it's $35 for the Learn to Knit kit on Etsy. But since it's a different product, no problemo. So so a few things to talk about today. So if you are thinking about selling your handmade items on Etsy, I mean on Amazon, or selling anything on Amazon, here's just a few things that I've learned. The only way that I could have learned them was to really dive in and get dirty. So here's one of the things is really keeping an eye on your cost of goods sold. It's important in any platform, but I find for Amazon, it's extremely important. And if you already know what this is, tune out, drink your coffee for a minute. But cost of goods sold just means how much does it cost to buy all the materials to put into the kit? And obviously, if I'm selling the kit for $39 and the yarn, the needles, the project bag, the box, everything, the postcards, if everything costs $12. That's my cost of goods sold. So I try to keep the cost of goods sold to as low as possible without sacrificing the quality. Now, the other kits that are on Amazon use acrylic yarn, which is going to be cheaper than the wool yarn that I use. They can use plastic needles, which will be cheaper than the bamboo needles that I use. And I'm not sure. I think they also have some economy of scale, because when you are manufacturing 10,000 pieces in China, then you're going to get a better rate per piece than when you're ordering 100 boxes at a time in the US. So that's where cost of goods sold comes in. And so if you think about the $39 as this pie, then you take out the cost of goods sold, and then whatever's left is what you have to work with. So Amazon takes out then their fees, which is about the same as what my cost of goods sold is. So now we're looking at, I have a third of that original pie left to play with. And that has been spent on ads. So why I stopped paying for ads altogether. And this is ads on Amazon itself. So when I added up all the numbers, um, good morning, Jerry. How are you? And Jerry, I know since you are a numbers whiz that you already know this about cost of goods sold and the like. So yeah, after I sold 100 kits, I track everything. I'm like a super data nerd. After I sold 100 kits, I counted up how much did I spend on cost of goods sold for those 100 kits. So it was about $1,200, right? $12 times 100 kits. And um, and then how much did I take home from Amazon? How much did Amazon send me to put back into my bank account? And it was $770. So basically, I paid Amazon for the privilege of selling my kits at about a rate of $5 a kit. Now, I broke it down further to see, well, how much did I pay per kit that I paid for ads as well? And so it worked out to about $5 a kit that I paid Amazon for every kit that I sold. And I paid them about $7 a kit for every kit that I sold using ads. So, it was fun to be able to say that our kits were number 8 on the top 100 list of knitting kits being sold on Amazon. And I think bigger companies could say, well, it's brand awareness and you're getting people to see your brand and to visit your website when they download the patterns and the ebooks. But at this point, being such a small business, I am 100% dedicated to profitability from the start. And the Amazon Learn to Knit kits are just one department of the whole business, but I don't want a department that's not making money. What's the point, right? So, Jess and I have our weekly meetings and we're like, this is not a hobby. We love it. We love you and we love yarn. But we also have bills to pay. So so I'm probably being a little more transparent than many companies would be. But I do want you to have this information, because I know some of you either own a yarn shop or, have Etsy shops, you make things, or maybe you just want a side hustle and it's so alluring, right? I'm not saying don't sell on Amazon. I'm not going to stop. I just have to figure out what to do next, which I'll tell you in a minute. So when I say that I stopped paying for ads, I turned off my Amazon ads. And I think my next step is going to be to run Facebook ads to point people to my website, which talks all about the Learn to Knit kits, and then people can go to Amazon from there. So really, like, rather than lining Amazon's pockets further, drive people to the website. So if you're on Facebook and you see an ad, that's because, you're my people. So you would Facebook thinks that you would appreciate seeing those ads. Anyway, so that's the second thing. So there was the cost of goods sold, and it's interesting. One more thing about cost of goods sold is that I did get a review that I think it was 3 stars, and I know, again, talk about vanity metrics. Like, it's fine. She said the kit was okay, that for the price she would have liked to have more included. And so I took that to heart and I thought, okay, well, how can I make this a more valuable kit? Without stuffing it with a lot of things that you're not going to use. So that is part of the next step. So even though I'm not paying for ads, at least in the immediate future, I am going to start selling these kits in different Amazon marketplaces around the world. So the next step is the UK. And that's a lower barrier to entry than, say, going to Japan, or someplace where I don't speak the language. Jess and I are very lucky that we work with a woman who is our tech editor. She is in the UK. Yeah, Jerry found me through Cratejoy, and it was a Facebook ad. I think I remember you saying, which is, thank you, Mark Zuckerberg, for bringing us together. Um, so yeah, so the idea of selling a knitting kit in the UK and in Europe is it's interesting because when we initially floated the idea past Catherine, I think is our tech editor's name. She said, yeah, we do like to have different spellings. Obviously, we have our British spellings. And Jess, I went through our whole ebook, which is about 100 pages long, and it's not very text heavy, but I think there was only one instance in where we would need to add a U to the word color. So that was pretty funny. But I also mentioned a porcupine in the text, and she said, "Oh, we would say hedgehog." So I like the idea of tailoring the ebook and the patterns to a different culture. And there are a lot of references in the ebook that are very American. And so I would clean those up and make them a lot, you know, not to make it a factual, not to make it more formal, I should say. It's still going to be factual. Not to make it more formal, but just to make it a little less colloquial. So I think at one point I say it's time to make the donuts, and I'm not sure that would translate too well. So, hi, Dawn. Oh, it's so good to see you. Now, Dawn, I wonder, have you thought about selling on Amazon, or are you already selling on Amazon? So, Dawn is one of my, I don't know if you know this, but I really look up to you and I really admire you as a business, a sister fiber bestie. Yes. Um, so in order to go global on Amazon, it's actually not okay. So Dawn says she does have a few things on Amazon, but she does not pay for ads. Yeah. Um, I'm happy I did it. I'm happy like I learned how to do it and I feel like comfortable doing it. Uh, again, when it comes to the holiday season, maybe it'll make more sense to do some ads, even $5 a day. And then Jerry said, yeah, they've got the metric system in the UK, which is interesting because certainly in Europe they do. But I don't know. I think that the UK then has their own knitting needle sizes. So that's something we're just going to look into. Oh, Mindy is here. Hi, Mindy. She says, hi, Carrie. Hi, Dawn. And then Jess is on the line too. This is a bestie reunion. I love it. So what's nice is when you're already like once you're already selling in the US, it is not a big jump to go global. And the reason I even got interested is that Amazon sent me a notification. It said, your product is in high demand in these 3 countries. So I'm like, oh, okay. And, whatever their algorithm is, they said Germany, the UK, and Japan. Well, you can sign up for Amazon Europe, and it's 25 pounds a month. And so I figure if I sell 1 kit a month, that'll pay for the fees, and I wouldn't be paying for ads. And they don't start charging you that £25 a month until you actually send inventory over there. So I would also use Fulfilled by Amazon, FBA, just like I do in the US. And so then they can distribute all the kits there are actually 8 different countries. Don't know if I can remember all of them, but there's the UK and Germany, and then Spain, Italy, maybe Portugal. I can't remember. Maybe some of the Scandinavian countries. But what I'd like to do, I think, is have a completely separate product. So the Learn to Knit UK version, and then I will work on the Learn to Knit German version. So I have a lovely friend, Inken. She's done an unboxing for me, and she is from Germany and is a brilliant knitter. So I think she would be a perfect person to help me translate the ebook. And I also want to try doing some videos in German. I would need to have a teleprompter, but I think that would be a hoot. I can do Spanish and Italian. German, I would need a teleprompter, and Japanese, that would be a whole different ball of wax. But I realize that, a majority well, I shouldn't say a majority. I should say that many people in Germany obviously speak English. Many people in Japan know English. But I'm very curious as to, like, as far as the knitting community, like maybe there would be a lot of people who don't speak English, but who want to learn to knit, who live in Germany. So I don't know. I think the number one barrier for going global is VAT tax. So every country has their own rules, and I need to register in the UK and in Germany, which are the first two countries I'm going to try. I need to have a tax ID, and I need to start charging tax immediately. So they have a zero threshold for VAT tax, which means that the first kit that I sell, I have to be sure that I charge the VAT tax and tell the customer about it, and I need to incorporate that in the pricing. So there are companies out there that will help navigate all this. I'm a do-it-yourselfer, and I know you are too. And so I kind of want to figure it out, see what I can figure out first. And knowing someone who's actually from Germany, I think will really help. I have former colleagues from Wiley who are in the UK, and actually German colleagues as well, who might be able to help me. At least, like, if you think about paying taxes in the US, for those of you who are in the US or even Canada, there are these websites that you go to, right? And they're not always the best organized, these government websites. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. And just imagine now taking that to a different country. So it's going to be interesting. Oh, that's interesting. So Jerry says, I subscribe to a crochet box in the UK and I love it. And crochet is a whole other ball of wax or ball of yarn, because I know that their terminology is different. So Jerry, do you find that difficult to translate in your head? Or do they have US, what's the word, like transcriptions for you? Or are you just so experienced that you can just read a UK pattern and be like, oh, I know what that really means. Or I know what that means in American English. So that's the plan. Yeah, I'm not nearly giving up. Let's say I decided that Amazon wasn't the place for me, then I would simply sell the kits only on my website and on Etsy or other platforms. So but a couple things have happened that have been interesting with Amazon. So number one of the kits was damaged, and so I got a notification, please create a removal order for your damaged product, or else we will destroy it and charge you for the privilege. And I said, okay. Given that my cost of goods sold is $12, let's see how much it will cost to have it sent back to me. Now, I will say it's only 75 cents, I think. I think for products that are under a pound in weight, they charge 75 cents to return it to you. I don't know if that includes shipping. We'll find out. So every 2 weeks, if there are any products that have been damaged or are unsellable, they will return them to me. And I'm dying to find out how the customer damaged this product, We'll see. So, but one product out of 117 sold, that's not too bad. I think about 10 or 12, there have been 10 or 12 returns. But those have just been put back into the stock, which is nice. Then the other interesting thing happened this morning, and that is I got it. Okay, so when these returns happened, I didn't realize, like, oh, my account is artificially inflated. So let's say I had $100 in my Amazon account that I thought, oh, I can withdraw this. No. When the returns went through, then my account fell to a negative balance, and it was like negative $90. And it was negative 90 for a while. And then this morning I received a message that said, oh, we're just going to charge your credit card. You can't have a negative balance. So we're going to take care of that. So I was like, oh, okay. So, um, so yeah, it's always something. It's a learning experience though. Okay. So Jerry, it's not too difficult. So double crochet UK is single crochet US. Yeah. I think one of the things that Jess and I want to do eventually is really branch out more into crochet, but I think we need a bigger design team because currently we're pretty maxed out. I don't want to speak for you, Jess, but we're pretty busy. So good. So that's the latest. I'll let you know as things progress what else I learn about Amazon and boy, you can be sure that as soon as we're in the black, we're gonna have a party. Yeah, we're gonna celebrate that becoming profitable. And I do know that I'm hard on myself, and I know that a lot of you are hard on yourselves too. It's not easy for a new business, and I consider this Amazon project a new business. Not easy to become profitable in the first year, let alone the first quarter. So we'll give it time. Sometimes I say that I'm allergic to debt, and I just, even though it's business investment, I'm like, I have so much yarn. I want to just send it to the world. And yeah, I don't want it in my living room. I want it in your hands. So, all right. So what's going on in the Spinning Hand in the next few weeks? We are getting ready to launch our quarterly. We're going to open the doors again for our subscription box, for our knitting box subscription, our knitting box of the month. So Jess and I are meeting this afternoon, and we are talking about how to, how to just reach more people. My goal is to have 100 subscribers each month. So right now we have about 35, I think, which is amazing. And what I would love to do is to grow that so that I say, okay, I need exactly 100 balls of yarn each month. Because right now we've had an open model, which means that anyone can sign up at any time, and then I have to worry about running out of yarn or project bags or needles. This way, I know this is how many people we have in the group. I can love on you, and then it's not going to grow again until the next time we open our doors. Yeah, and Jess said the Create Joy quarterly friends. So yeah, so we have 65. So I have 35 monthly and about 60 quarterly subscribers. So my favorite thing ever, and this just happened with one of our VIPs, Angela. My favorite thing ever is when a bestie decides to go from being quarterly to coming over to the Spinning Hand and joining us from Crate Joy. And Jerry, that's what happened with you too. Like we met through Crate Joy, and now you're a multi-platform woman. So, and the reason I think Jerry has said this, the reason that she's multi-platform is I don't offer quarterly yet on the Spinning Hand, but I really do like that cadence, especially because some of our projects are kind of long. And if you're always working on a million things, like most of us are, it's nice to have 3 months in between the kits. So that is the hope and the goal is to have a quarterly cadence on our website, so you don't have to go through Crate Joy. I think it's actually more expensive to go on Crate Joy for you and for me. But the nice thing about it is that it reaches a lot of people that wouldn't normally find me elsewhere. So kind of like Etsy, it's a nice platform to reach different people, and then they can be introduced to your little knitting world. Good. Oh, It's so nice to know that you're here, at least virtually, and Mindy, especially. I owed you an email. I loved the last email you sent, and I love the watercolors that you're working on. They're so beautiful. Um, and Dawn, it's awesome to see you. And Dawn, if you would like to, maybe you want to put a link to your items on Amazon or give us some keywords to look for. I don't know if you have stitch markers or row counters on Amazon, but yeah, I'd love to send people your way. And I'll of course put the link to the Learn to Knit kit underneath as well. Um, and that's about it. I hope you have a great weekend. The heat has broken a little bit in the Northeast. It's walkable. Oh, Mindy, yeah. It's so funny, like thank you, Dawn. It's so funny. We see each other online, and it's different. It's different from getting together in person. Well, it would be fun. Um, we should have a Zoom call, like all of us. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. And have a wonderful weekend. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.